Hi besties and welcome to my channel. My name is Tanner and this is my Esoterica, where I aim to bring you guys comfort and guidance from a place of comfort, my bed. This is going to be the first video in a new series I'm doing, Tarot Talk with Tanner, where we kind of address life's bigger questions. I'm thinking like big philosophical questions, maybe conspiracy theories, true crime stuff, like anything that's sort of like a mystery, a big mystery. I want to kind of use tarot to kind of dive deeper into it, into these big life mysteries. Because I feel like, with tarot, a lot of the time we talk about, how people are feeling or what this relationship is, or like, that's just more personalized stuff. But I feel like tarot can be such a powerful tool to kind of peel back the layers of all sorts of things. So, this is going to be the first video in that series. And the question we're going to look at today is, what is the meaning of life? Big question, right? And I'm interested to see what the cards will show us, will tell us. So how this will go is we'll pull one Wisdom of the Oracle card to just kind of get like a general kind of framework, I guess, to work out of. We'll talk about that a little bit, what it might mean for the big question. And then we'll dive deeper into that with a 3-card tarot pull. Ooh. We'll talk about that a little bit. Then we'll further clarify the 3 cards we pull with 2 additional tarot cards. So we'll end up with 3-card tarot readings. And then we will close off the reading with just a channeled message from Spirit, to just kind of get like a final sort of recap, or like just a final little party message. So yeah, I won't dwell too much on anything else. We'll just jump right into the reading. So yeah, today's question is, what is the meaning of life? And of course, there can be so many answers to this. And it might be different for different people. Different people have different meanings, right? Or different purposes. And of course, I'm not anticipating that this answer is going to be the, be all, end all. I am no authority on anything. And, the universe is funny. So we'll see what message comes out, and we'll see how much it rings true for people. But, this is just for fun. Take it with a grain of salt. But we'll see what comes out. All right. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you to all the guides and angels and guardians who are here with us and with this reading today. We have a big question for you. What is the meaning of life? 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 Very specific card wants to come out. What is the meaning of life? By the Book came out. Very interesting. We see that's number 11 too, which I don't think is too much of a coincidence. But By the Book talks about doing things like, slow and steady progress, like doing things by the rules or by, conventional standards. So I'm interested to see what that means for the meaning of life. So let's look at in the guidebook here what it says. By the Book. So abiding by social rules, conformity, respecting cultural or family customs, universal laws. Okay, so that kind of rings true a little bit. Let's see what the Oracle's message here is. The universe works within a structure of divine laws and principles that provides a framework for human experience and evolution. That's a little more on point than I thought it'd be. The law of abundance, the law of prayer, the law of karma, the law of attraction, the law of thought, the law of compensation, and the law of nature are only a few that are known. These principles create perfect order and operate with a kind of precision beyond human understanding. Even revolution has its place in universal law. Human beings, in turn, have their own laws and customs that vary from culture to culture and family to family. Laws keep social order and govern behavior, reflecting an instinctive understanding that harmony is important. There is a time to learn these laws and conform to them, rather than being the rebel and flouting them. When this card appears, submit to structure and follow the rules, even if they seem to make no sense. Release resistance, for universal laws will correct any disharmony. Open your eyes to those universal laws, and it will be easier to go by the book at this time. So, it seems like what it's saying is that, like, the meaning of life is to come here and to, like, do life, like, in tandem, or, in agreement, I should say, with all of the universal laws that exist. These principles create perfect order and operate with a kind of precision beyond human understanding. So, yeah, when this card appears, submit to the structure and follow the rules of the universe. So, very interesting. It seems like, again, by the book is like doing things by the book, abiding by social rules, conformity. So it's like conforming to and coming to understand, I want to say, the laws that govern our universe and living your life abiding them, if that makes sense. Very interesting. I was not expecting the message to be that on point about like universal laws and stuff, especially when it comes to like the meaning of life. Um, it's a little too on point, actually. So yeah, so far what I'm getting, the meaning of life is to come and learn about and live your life by the laws of the universe. It says here, release resistance, for universal laws will correct any disharmony. Open your eyes to those universal laws, and it will be easier to go by the book at this time. So, flowing with the universal laws, releasing resistance, releasing ego, I feel like is a big part of it too. Connecting to divinity and, connecting to this kind of esoteric knowledge that not many people know about necessarily, and living your life by those rules. Very interesting. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the tarot for this, because I'm interested to see what will come out. Thank you, Spirit. So we have conforming to universal laws, living your life by universal laws. Let's look a little deeper. All right, Spirit. What is the meaning of life? Can we further clarify this by the book energy, this following universal laws? Give us a little more insight, please, into what is the meaning of life. What is the meaning of life? Thank you, Spirit. What is the meaning of life? Okay. So we got the King of Wands, the Four of Pentacles, and funnily enough, interestingly enough, the Eight of Pentacles came out in reverse. So first things first with this King of Wands, I feel like this is stepping into, power, right? Your own power. The King of Wands is the king of like individuality. And, he's really magnetic and people are really drawn to him because of just, he lives his life authentically. He's in his power. He doesn't care what people think or what they have to say or anything like that. He's just straight chilling in his domain. He's, ruling, presiding over things, fairly, justly, people look to him for guidance, and he happily gives it to them. He's also passionate and excited about life, because wands are all about passion and excitement, right? So I feel like what this is saying is like the meaning of life is to step into your own power, right? And not worry about what people think. Stepping into your own true, authentic sense of self, your true, authentic purpose, and saying kind of like, to hell with what anyone else has to say or think about it. King of Wands does not care. He's in his own world pretty much, and he knows that the only one who has the power to really affect change in his world is him, because he's the king, right? The next card that came up was the Four of Pentacles, and the Four of Pentacles is all about stability and structure as well, finding structure and stability. But it's interesting because the Four of Pentacles often talks about clinging too tightly to material things, or clinging too tightly to, just clinging too tightly to stuff. Like this, this guy is very guarded, holding back also, but he's very focused on his material world. They're his foundations. It's on his heart, and it's in his head too. So I feel like, part of life, part of the purpose of life is finding stability and structure for yourself, um, and learning, what to hold on to and what to release. I'm thinking like, powerful lessons that you learn, or friendships you want to keep, things like that. But I also get the sense that it's like, this is saying that you want to build a sturdy, strong foundation for yourself, but you don't want to cling too tightly to material things. That's kind of what I'm getting here. Don't be like this guy. Don't. Yes, foundations are important. Yes, you know, making a way in this physical world, in this matrix, is very important, and I feel like that takes up a lot of people's time and energy. But with this card, I get the sense, and I feel like this card is acknowledging that too. The way people live today is like everyone's constantly worrying about, how am I going to pay rent? How am I going to get food on the table for my kids? Um, you know, what are we going to do for the holidays? That sort of stuff. So I feel like, yes, on the one hand, that stuff is important. We can't like just forget about that stuff. So it's important to do those things. But I'm saying, don't be like this guy. Don't cling so tightly to it that you kind of let everything else fall by the wayside. Does that make sense? And another, just piggybacking off of that, the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. The Eight of Pentacles upright is all about, working hard, like mastery of a craft, slow and steady work, doing things again and again and again until you get it right. But with it in reverse, it's kind of saying like, don't work so hard, if that makes sense. I feel like this is saying sort of like, let life kind of flow for you. Obviously, you want to do some sort of work to hold on to and build a strong foundation for yourself while you're here. But I feel like, losing yourself in work, losing yourself in the physical isn't really the point of being here, right? I feel like this is saying, don't work so hard, or don't focus. Again, piggybacking off of this, like, don't focus so much on working yourself to death. Yes, step in your power. Yes, follow your passions. Yes, become magnetic for the things that you want. But don't cling so tightly to working so hard. That's what I get with that. So very interesting. We're going to go ahead and clarify everything. starting with this King of Wands, and then we'll get a little more insight. Do a quick shuffle. Do 2. Okay, thank you, Spirit. Very interesting so far. Can we please further clarify this King of Wands energy for our, what is the meaning of life? Let's look at this King of Wands energy. Please further clarify the King of Wands, Spirit. Thank you very much. The 9 of Wands. Please further clarify this King and 9 of Wands. Ace of Pentacles. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and just pull for all of the cards, and then we'll talk about it. Thank you, Spirit. Can we please further clarify this 4 of Pentacles here? Please further clarify this 4 of Pentacles. Please further clarify this 4 of Pentacles. Two of Wands. Okay. Ooh. Ace of Wands in reverse. Interesting. Thank you, Spirit. Can we please further clarify this 8 of Pentacles in reverse? Please further clarify this 8 of Pentacles in reverse. The King of Wands came out again. I feel like that definitely, means something. All right, thank you, Spirit. One more card, please. Please further clarify this 8 of Pentacles in reverse and the King of Wands again. Please further clarify the 3 of Cups. Okay, interesting. Let's get into it. So clarifying the King of Wands here, we got the 9 of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles. So what I'm seeing like right off the bat is like, yes, the point of life is to get to a place where you can sit in your power, become this magnetic sort of King of Wands, right? Follow your passions, follow your excitements, let things come to you. But I also get the sense with the 9 of Wands here that that's not necessarily something that's easy to do. The 9 of Wands is the Wounded Warrior card, right? So this is a card of like having gone through a lot, right? It's like wanting to give up. This guy is like beaten all to heck. And he's like still looking over his shoulder, waiting for the next attack to come. He's built up this barrier behind him with these 8 wands, and he's holding the other one, just kind of like, I feel like this is very much reminiscent of like life's journey, right? Especially, I mean, like for a lot of us, right? Like life just kind of beats us up left and right. And I feel like ultimately, it is for our highest good. I believe that we all come here as souls and spirits to learn and grow and change and evolve and all of that stuff, to find our power, like this King of Wands is saying. But with the 9 of Pentacles or 9 of Wands here, it's saying that that's not easy. Like that takes a lot of perseverance. It takes going through a lot of trauma and pain. And, fighting the urge to give up, like continuing to push forward, even if you feel like giving up sometimes. And with the Ace of Pentacles here, I feel like this is sort of saying like, this is a new opportunity. Like life is a new opportunity to kind of go through this struggle in order to turn into the highest version of yourself, right? It's like life is an opportunity. The Ace of Pentacles, a new chance, a new beginning. Physical stuff as well with Pentacles, right? It's a chance to plant yourself, your soul, in the physical also, coming into, from the other side, right? And then I feel like you go through this journey where it's, you're constantly learning, you're constantly kind of getting beaten back a little bit, but you keep going, right? You don't quit, you persevere. And eventually it leads you to this place where you're sitting really firmly and squarely in your power. You're not really worried about the opinions of others anymore. You're able to just embody your true, your fire. And you allow that to kind of shine outwards. And, that draws people to you, that draws opportunities to you to, to further challenge you, right? To continually grow into this King of Wands energy. So very interesting. Very interesting. Next, clarifying the Four of Pentacles here, we have the Two of Wands and the Ace of Wands in reverse. So I know the Ace of Wands in reverse can be like, aces in reverse in general can be like a missed opportunity, right? Here it says delays, lack of motivation, lack of energy, lack of passion, feeling weighed down, that sort of stuff. And with the Two of Wands, this is planning energy, like trying to figure out, you know, leaving your comfort zone. If you look at this card, you can see this guy is kind of standing here on the precipice of his castle, right? His foundation, where he's comfortable. And he's looking out into the world in front of him. And he's also got the world in his hand. And he's trying to figure out, like, do I leave my comfort zone? Do I stay here, or do I take a risk and venture out into the unknown and see what I can learn out there? So, with all of these cards together, what I'm getting is that, like, using all your time to, like, plan and play it safe and stay in your comfort zone, clinging tightly to material security, not really opening yourself up, being kind of closed off to new experiences or new people or taking a risk, because that's what this card is about too, like trying to figure out if you can take a risk. I feel like, staying in this energy where where you're staying in your comfort zone to cling to the idea of um, material security or something along those lines is going to lead to some sort of blockage or like a missed opportunity to really take full advantage of all of the opportunities that life has to offer us, right? Yeah, it's like staying in your comfort zone, not moving forward, not progressing in any kind of way, clinging really tightly to material foundations or just like the material, trying to think of the word, circumstances of your life. I don't think that was the word I exactly wanted, but you get what I mean. Will lead to some sort of blockage of creativity, a blockage of passion. It'll lead to delays in fulfilling your life purpose. Um, it'll cause you to be unmotivated. It'll cause you to have no passion. All of these things. So when you stay in your comfort zone, when you don't make the choice to branch out, to learn, to grow, to evolve, when you cling so tightly to material foundations or societal expectations, because I feel like pentacles are also kind of about that in a way, yeah, then it leads to some sort of blockage. It leads to delays. It doesn't lead to progress. It leads to stagnation, and we don't want stagnation. So step out of your comfort zone. So going to this last row now, this Eight of Pentacles in reverse, this don't work too hard energy, clarified by the King of Wands again. So the King of Wands came up twice. So I feel like this, learning how to sit in your power, learning how to be comfortable being who you are, and not really giving much weight to the opinions of others. That's very much going to, like, not working too hard and just allowing. Of course it's going to take some pain and learning. It's going to be a learning experience, and it's not always going to be easy. But, when you work too hard, I feel like you block yourself from being able to stand in your full power, because you're so focused on, distracting yourself with the more mundane aspects of life. You're not really getting the chance to sit in your power, to fully embrace who you are at the soul level. If you're constantly working, 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 working. Not to say, of course, life is about working too. That's why this Eight of Pentacles showed up at all. Life is about working. It is about mastery. But it's not all that there is, right? I think, it's saying don't work too hard to find your power. I feel like, we come into this world so full of light and joy, and so many of us know who we are from the beginning, right? But we get bogged down with life, with the rules of life. We, kind of go through school and kind of get the magic sort of beaten out of us in a way. We all work hard all of our lives, but focusing only on that is not going to allow you to find who you truly are. It's just going to keep you distracted and kind of in the cycle of things, in the daily grind. And life should be fun with the Three of Cups here. Follow what makes you happy. Follow what gives you bliss. Connection with others as well is a big theme of the Three of Cups. Celebration. What else is on here? Celebration, friendship, collaboration, creativity, friendship, community, happiness. I'm saying yes to all these things. And I feel like, embracing your joy, embracing, like-minded souls and friends and family and all that stuff, like-minded souls like help elevate each other, and they help you see who you truly are, because the people you associate with are ultimately are reflections of you, or a reflection of you, right? And I think, connecting with others, having a good time, learning what makes you tick in a good way helps you find your power. It helps you, be seen by others as you truly are, if that makes sense. So yeah, I feel like this is saying, like, don't work too hard to find your power. Follow your bliss, follow fun, follow good times, follow connections with people. And that's going to ultimately lead you to this King of Wands, this power, this magnetism, this assurance, assurity, being sure of yourself. Yeah. Don't work too hard. Don't cling too tightly to things, to material things. Step out of your comfort zone. Have fun with people. Follow your bliss. Have fun. Yes, it's going to be a struggle. Yes, it's going to be opportunities for growth. I'm noticing also that there's a lot of wands here. So life is definitely about passions. I'm getting, at least, that's what I'm getting from this. But overall, I get the sense that it's an opportunity to, again, step out of your comfort zone and evolve into the highest version of yourself. by not clinging too tightly to the material world, by not working yourself to death, by having fun. So very interesting. I really like that. So yeah, I hope you guys like that as well. I'm trying to keep these types of readings really short, so we just do, one set of things, when in my other videos I do like 2 or 3 sets of drawn out readings like this. But I'm very interested to see what Spirit's closing message will be for this. So thank you, Spirit, for a very interesting and insightful reading. Can we please get one final channeled message for our viewers, for ourselves as well, because I can't lie and say I'm not curious. One final closing channeled message for what is the meaning of life. One final closing message for what is the meaning of life. The now. Very interesting. The now. That card has never come up for me before. But they say that life is all about living in the present moment, right? So let's see what it says in the book. The now is number 47. So the now. Being in the right place at the right time, divine timing, a sense of time speeding up as you move forward toward your dream, a reminder that time is on your side. So, the now. Time is always on your side. The universe has brought you right here, right now. So, be here now. They had a lot of periods. Nothing else is tangible. You cannot change the past, and you can only change the future by making changes today. Your now is always the only moment when you can actively inspire change. So go ahead and bunker down and take a moment to enjoy a few full deep breaths. Notice the wonderful life you have already started creating. Yes, and trust that you have all the time you need. When you stop seeing time as something to work against, change can happen in the blink of an eye. Things shift quickly when you are aligned with the divine. Your miracle will flow into your life in perfect arrangement. So begin to act in a way that shows trust in its arrival. Bathe your present day in the experience of your success, instead of looking to the far off future to finally realize your dream. That's kind of really beautiful. So focus on the here and now is kind of the parting message for this question. What is the meaning of life? Staying present in the now. And attracting like-minded people, attracting like-minded friends, collaborators. Attract. What else did it say in here? Bathe your present day in the experience of your success instead of looking to the far-off future to finally realize your dream. So yeah, in order to, live a meaningful life, or, to find your purpose in life, focus on the here and now. Um, Focus on on living your life by the book, by the universal laws that govern us. Do the work, do the work, but don't get lost in it. Don't cling so tightly to comfort and stability at the cost of fun and excitement and passion. Passion. Um, and yeah, use this life as a new opportunity to step into the highest version of yourself. And focus on the now to get there. Don't worry about the future. Don't, stay lost in the past. Life is in the now. So focus on the now, and you'll follow your bliss and joy, and eventually yeah, you'll find that you're in your highest sort of expression of yourself. Very interesting. I really like that. I hope you guys got something from this. If you guys have any ideas for any other kind of big questions you would like me to dive into, please leave those in the comments. And yeah, if you guys like this, please like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll see you in the next one. All right, take care. Bye.